Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Wednesday, a hump day edition of the JP Peterson Show. We're so glad you joined us. Yes, it is hump day. We got great stuff to talk about. It is immersed in football season. We are. So we got college football to talk about. The Bucs finalized their 53. No real surprises for us, I don't think. I don't know about you. Put them in the comments if you think so. We'll talk some Bucs. We'll go around the NFL. Interesting poll out about the most underrated and overrated players in the league done by, I believe it was The Athletic, in polling the players and coaches and general managers. Interesting stuff there. Evan Klosky is going to join us from WTSP, their sports director. Always fun to chat with Evan. All things Rays, Bucks, college football. He's all over it. Anything in Tampa Bay sports. We got John Talty from CBS Sports Football. Just did a book with Armin Katayan. Where is that book? It's somewhere here. About the chaos in college football. Very interested to hear what he has to say. So lots to get to. Peter Blake joining me as he does each and every Wednesday morning. What's up, Peter? How are you?
What's going on, buddy? Ready to go here. Happy hump day. What is it now? 11 days away until Tampa Bay Buccaneer football starts. So the roster is set. We'll see what happens. Shepard comes back last night on the practice squad, so there's still hope there.
Yeah.
Lots of potential on this roster, that's for sure. Good morning.
When you have a guy like Sterling Shepard who came off the couch, I get it, but really showed some flashes in training camp, and he's on the practice squad in case something happens to Chris Godwin. He's a capable replacement. It's good to have that kind of get depth, but lots to get into. So let's bring in our good friend Evan Klosky from WTSP. He's going over to practice, so we're getting him on early this morning to top the show. What's up, Evan? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. You up late watching the Rays last night like I was?
Yeah, you know what? I was. I would understand if fans don't want to stay up late and watch them. At least I do get paid to watch them. So,
exactly.
But it ended up being an entertaining game. They scored 3 runs. That's pretty much, the most you can ask for.
These days, yes. And Jose Siri, I'm not a huge fan, but you got to give it to the dude. He has produced 3 wins off his bat late in games in the last, couple of weeks, and he did it again last night. He's capable of running into one, even though if he's usually batting below 200. That type of power makes a difference, and this Rays pitching staff, which, with all the futility of the team, cannot be overlooked. They have been fantastic. Springs was fantastic last night. Uceda was great. Clevenger closed. It's great to see this pitching, but man, that offense is still just awful.
Yeah, I think they had 5 hitters south of 200 in that lineup yesterday. And that's for the year. I did something on air yesterday. Randy Rosarena has been batting south of 200 for the month of August. They got 5 in the lineup south of 200 for the year. So it's futile, to say the least. It's just not a good offense. Look, when you have those caliber of hitters, it's not a surprise that they've actually scored 1 or less runs more times this month than they scored more than 3 runs. So they scored more than 3 runs 8 times this month. They scored 1 or 0 runs this month 9 times. So that just kind of shows you where we're at. And where this team is really going to have to make some savvy decisions in the offseason to improve the offense. Some of it will be a natural progression with some players. I don't think Josh Lowe was this bad, and he was injured for half the year. So, I expect him to be a rebound candidate. I don't expect Christopher Morel to be this bad. But yeah, they're still going to have to do some moves even beyond hoping some of their guys are better than what they've shown this year.
Do you agree with some of the moves they made at the trading deadline? Because I know there are a lot of fans out there disappointed, especially the other night with Randy Arozarena, his 2nd home run in a Mariner uniform against the Rays. But do you agree with the things they did here the last couple of months at the trading deadline to improve their team not only for this year but for the future?
Yeah, and I think only time. Look, it's only been like a month or so since the trades, so we all have to reserve judgment on whatever side you believe in, whether you think it was dumb or whether you think it was right.
Yeah.
There's still time to tell. But, as I mentioned, Randy Rosarena has been awful in the month of August. Isaac Paredes has pretty much been just as bad as Christopher Morel has been for the Rays. He has not looked great at all, and he was slumping before he got traded too. And there's a whole list of reasons of why Isaac Paredes is probably a good guy to move on from, considering how unique his swing is. You talk about the relievers that they gave away, or Zach Eflin, and you had to open up a spot for Jeffrey Springs. All these pieces were either replaceable or they haven't done so much to prove that you're really missing them right now. I think that they probably did the right move to take care of a seller's market, really stack the farm system with a lot of pitching, something they didn't really have entering the trade deadline. They got a good chunk of hitters, actually, despite what their major league roster says. But I think that they made the right move, especially for a team who I did not believe was a playoff contender, mostly because of the schedule that was coming down the chute. And they're running into a bit of a gauntlet, and they still haven't had that road trip where they got to play the Phillies, the Orioles, and the Guardians all at one time. So they were kind of stuck. They dug themselves a hole, and you hear from the Lightning all the time and John Cooper, don't dig yourself an early hole. It's hard to climb out of.
Right.
And that's really what the Rays did, and they were kind of stuck.
I would agree with that, Evan. I mean, we talked about it before the deadline to sell everybody they could. I don't know what they got back was enough, but we shall see. And nobody's left and said, and maybe Eflin. I mean, Eflin's been great, but so is, Springs has been pretty good too. And what you got back from them, we'll see. That's what it's all about. It's not only how do these players develop that they got back, but can they package them up and go get major leaguers? I mean, hopefully that's part of the deal. And then, of course, the savings that you save, will they reinvest or keep complaining that they now have a $700 million mortgage? We've already heard that. So that's the thing. Will they? Everything that the grade is incomplete. It's very much incomplete. We don't have enough information. May not know for 2 or 3 years. At first blush, I don't think they got enough for a lot for what they gave up, but we shall see. Will they package those things up? It's all, and the pitching has just been phenomenal. And they found a couple guys in Uceda and Rodriguez that closed last night, who have been really, really good. So I'm bullish on this team in the future if they can package up all those prospects and maybe trade for bona fide major leaguers, someone that can hit, and then go into the free agent market and buy some actual hitters, because they'll have, depending on, what you see, if they're going to make so much money on this stadium, start spending the money. And if they can go from $45 million payroll, which they have on the books for next year, to 150 or 125, and add hitters to this pitching staff, they're right back in it. I mean, they would be, depending on who they get, extremely dangerous if they could add 2 or 3 bats to this lineup, correct?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And, the funny thing is, for how defensively focused the Rays like to be, and to which I support that to a degree, there is value in it. When you look at the numbers, they aren't at the top of the league as far as defensive runs saved. They're pretty much right around even, which is not good enough considering the batters you're laying out there. So, like Ben Rortvedt is pretty much a wash. He's like 0 defensive runs saved, but Alex Jackson is he's got a solid mark. But if you're hitting 111, it doesn't matter what your defense is. You're washing out every gain you're doing defensively. You're washing out by your outs every at bat necessarily. So, I am curious. Look, it's going to take a little bit of time before all the slush money gets in there, right? Once the stadium opens, now you're making money off the ground. Now you're starting to get the second revenue stream that's beyond the ticket sales and all that stuff. And, to a degree, I do believe that they have more money in their pockets that they could spend, and they utilize some talking points, which, look, not enough fans come to the game. They don't have the corporate sponsorships, yada, yada, yada. Okay, got it. Still, whatever. But I do hope that next year, because of the books, as you mentioned, and of course, all the arbitration guys have to be given their money as well. So I imagine they're probably looking at a $60-70 million payroll once that's all done. That's still enough room to make a fairly decent splashy signing. And I don't think they need to do a quantity type move. They used to, for a while there, they would sign like a Waka or a Kluber or a Charlie Morton, right, to a 2-year deal and give them a good chunk of change. I would like to see, hey, what if you gave like one of those 1+1 deals to a Teoscar Hernandez, Anthony Santander. There are some of those guys who aren't defensively great, but they can play the corner outfield position, which is kind of what they need. They probably need like a left field, provide power and some top, and that doesn't necessarily need to go out there and be a defensive wizard. So I think that if they just added that amongst the pieces that currently they have in a Brandon Lau and a Yandy Diaz, and we hope a better Josh Lowe, and we hope a better Christopher Morel, and we have a full season of Junior Caminero, I think that you're starting to kind of see a pretty decent lineup right there. So I'm not of the ilk that, hey, we got to smash it all down to rebuild this lineup. But you do have to add one guy who I can just know that, hey, he's going to hit 250. He's going to have 25 to 30 bombs.
Yes.
You're going to fear him and maybe give some protection for a young kid like Junior Caminero. So you gotta give me something else in that lineup that is more surefire than the hope and prayer that, hey, Christopher Morel is going to be this all-star type guy that you think he's going to be, or that is going to return to 2022 form. So that or 2023 form. So I need something more solid than that. And I don't.
You want an Alex Bregman, a Juan Soto? Who else we got?
The thing is, Bregman, I would assume, is going to land back in Houston. Also, he's kind of like third base one. They need more outfield.
Anthony Santander
Soto
becomes a free agent.
Like $500 million.
Yeah, you ain't getting Soto. What you're gonna get is a rumor that the Rays made an offer, and
they gave him like a 100.
We were in it on Soto.
We were so in it with him, and they weren't. Talk about being in it. Junior Caminero. Do you wish you would have saw him a little bit sooner for what he's done lately for this Rays team?
I mean, to their credit, I think he's going to burn through his rookie eligibility this season in a lost season. So it might have had to do more with the fact that he was returning from injury and making sure that he was okay versus actually trying to bring him up to help this team. I don't, without having those details on the injury front, I'm not quite sure. I do believe the Rays are a bit more cautious with their prospects than maybe I think they should be. I think they do kind of nurse them a little bit too long. And then, ultimately prospects are going to, they can get a little tired down there. It gets a little, it's not as motivating when you're kind of crushing the ball and you're not getting the call up. So, that's at any level, not just to the Rays. But ultimately, look, you're seeing Junior Caminero, amazing plate discipline. I'm seeing a lot of off-speed stuff coming at him right now. Some of it's fooling him, and he's not a finished product yet. So I'm just happy in general that he's up this year, getting everyday at-bats, learning what he has to learn on the fly, because that's the only way you're going to learn in the major leagues. The difference between AAA and major league level pitching is just so astronomical. It's crazy. So I'm just happy that he's here. And I think it's important for the 2025 team that he enters next year saying, hey, I got like a cool 100 plus at bats last year. I know what to expect. And, as you're seeing, he's not really, the LA game was fantastic, but, day in and day out, he's not really like this game changer in 2024. Like if they brought him up sooner, I don't know how much he was going to add to wins this year. It's really more of getting him the reps so that next year,
giving him more reps. Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Yeah. I was just looking at that list. So, yeah. And obviously Soto's not in play, but How about Pete Alonso and Willie Adames coming back
Whoa.
to Tampa Bay?
Pete
That was
Alonso, local
You
guy.
know,
first baseman
I'll say with
and a shortstop that can hit, and throw in an Anthony Santander. Wow.
I was gonna say,
Instantly.
Willie's issue is that he can never hit in the trap. His numbers,
that can't still be true, can it?
like, look at his splits.
I know.
Like, it's crazy. I don't know if it's coincidence. I mean, he's got a lot of at bats, and even he admitted he's like, I couldn't see, the batter's eye wasn't good.
Yeah, that's true.
But not to mention Willie Adames' defense for a shortstop position. It's surprisingly, I looked at it actually the other day. It's really not good.
Would you rather have Taylor Walls?
I mean, yeah, I look. I think the thing is, there's a whole list of, if you do this, can you do that, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
and they got Carson Williams coming up, who might be the answer at short too. Or listen, they could package up the 75 younger shortstops they have and maybe get one. So
yeah, look, they need, with the shortstop position, they need one more year out of next year, right? Like, to me, like, if you did Jose Caballero for a full year, that probably would be fine too. He's not the greatest defensive shortstop.
Right.
But you're just trying to get yourself to 2026, or Carson Williams will play for the team. And I don't know how, like, immediately his bat will make a play in Major League Baseball, but his glove will be ready when he comes up. So, like, at worst case scenario, he's going to hit better than whatever you're seeing at Taylor with Taylor
God,
Walls, and he's going to provide just as good of a glove. So that's not going to be an issue. But next year, you're really in kind of this 1 year holding pattern. So you don't want to commit to anybody. So my guess is they're gonna really just deal with whatever. We might see Walls one more year. I don't know. But with, like, a guy like Pete Alonso, it's like, okay, well, if Pete wants to take a 1+1 deal, maybe we entertain it, and then you trade Yandy, and now you kind of, like, do the maneuvers. But again, I tend to believe that Brandon Lau will be a first baseman next year. You have Morel at second, and then you really kind of provide, either Yandy will play mostly DH, or you trade Yandy, and there's a bigger plan at play. So there's a lot of, like, what if statements to go through.
Right. Yeah.
The Rays in the offseason, and all of them have to be weighed, and it takes you on a different path.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they should move on from Yandy, because there have been disturbances, if you will, not only with Randy, but now, with players in that clubhouse? The equation to that is now Randy's gone, and of course the player is still on this team. But would you move on from Yandy with his age? And it doesn't. I don't know what it is with him clubhouse behavior. So would you move on from that? Do you think the Rays should move on from that, because he seems like he's always a part of that equation, Evan?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I believe the Yandy drama had a lot to do with Yandy Randy and the dynamic behind the scenes between those two. I think it's been floated out there. Their wives weren't the best fans of each other. So, that's been said. So I think what we saw in Oakland was a little bit more of the fact that their stadium is also garbage. They don't have a place to hide. There's no place where you can bring someone down the tunnel and hash it out, which happens all the time. All baseball teams, they all go into the tunnel, they all say some stuff, and they come back out, they're all good. You can't do that in Oakland. So
among other things.
I don't have any character issues with Yandy. More so, we're getting to the point of where Yandy's offensive abilities have to be so extraordinary that they negate his defensive abilities and his lack of speed. I mean, he can't really run anymore. He's went from third to first, and his next move is DH. He provides no power at a position that you need power. So I love Yandy. I mean, outside of the horrific month that he had in April, it's kind of going to screw up with the fact that he's not going to hit 300 this year. But and now he's kind of like disenchanted a little bit, though he delivered the game-winning home run last night. I'm not worried so much about Yandy and the behind-the-scenes stuff as much as the black and white on the field kind of equation of things of, like, hey, is this a guy? Are we like tethered to Yandy? Because the Rays love versatility.
Right.
There is no versatility with Yandy.
Great point. Yeah, I think I would just, and you mentioned Brandon Lau as well, who has hit the ball fantastic, but again, is never consistently available. I would just, even though they're good people, I would love to see those two names removed from the lineup with two fresh names that can hit, whoever they might be. I just think this team needs a new center fielder, a new first baseman, a shortstop that could hit would be nice. I'm very disappointed in Morel and what I've seen. His at-bats are awful. So I think there still needs to be a lot of overhaul in terms of positional players here. Josh Lowe seems to be the only one that I'm trying to think of who else I would keep around. That's about it. Everything else I think is available. Would you agree? I mean, certainly we need a new catcher.
I'm not here to say
third base is set.
Yeah, I'm not here to say that like they're tethered to Brandon Lau or Yandy Diaz or whoever next season, right? I think, we've learned with the Rays, almost everybody is fairly tradable at the right cost.
Yes.
My thing is, it's going to be really, really hard to find someone with Brandon Lau's power on the open market, or even a team that's willing to trade a guy like Brandon Lau. And I understand the injury stuff. He can't stay healthy. It's a problem. But when he's in the lineup, there's no denying that he fills out that lineup and he provides the one thing this team needs, which is power. Their slugging is so bad. The reason why they're just not that good this season is because even if they do generate hits, they're getting a bunch of singles.
Right.
Like they need someone who can put the ball over the fence and give them
in the gap. Yeah.
A pop. And Brandon Lau is that guy. And when he's playing, he is an elite power guy. His numbers are right up there. The problem is he doesn't necessarily register enough at bats
exactly
because he falls through the cracks that way. But at a 162 game pace, this is a 30 home run guy, and he's on this year. So
just never gets there.
In a vacuum, could they move on from him for somebody else? Absolutely. I think that's something that they should entertain and listen to. But in practicality, are they going to find somebody who can really do what he does and get someone to help the big league club in 2025 to really do similar things? I'm not 100% sure that answer is out there. And to me, in the offseason, I think they're going to have to make a decision between Brandon or Yandy. I would personally be surprised if both are back. And if they are, I would be personally surprised if they made it through the whole year together.
I agree. Totally. William Madden wants to know if the Rays would entertain bringing Blake Snell back. Well, can we trade the slapdick prospects we got for him back to get him?
Yeah,
that would work out well. Is it like the Golden Diamond source where they never lose their value and we can send them back?
Yeah, I think so. that trade certainly is up there for the worst in Rays history. Yes. Mostly because it's pretty much Cole Wilcox is the last hope, and he just got promoted to AAA this year, so we'll see on that front. But yeah, I don't think Blake Snell is in the running, mostly because this team is already oozing with starting.
Doesn't need pitching. Yeah, exactly.
They got depth on depth, which is why you saw them part with Zach Eflin, Aaron Savali. Mm-hmm. They're even managing Zach Littell's innings right now, and they're still pumping out perfectly fine arms. Tyler Alexander, by the way, ever since he's come back up, he's looked like a different guy.
Yeah.
So, not that I factor him really into the 2025 equations, but
if you need him,
that at least in a pinch,
you need him.
They can use him in sort of what the Erasmo Ramirez role has always been.
Yeah.
Which Erasmo is doing again.
Exactly. You can't kill that guy. All right, let's move on to the Bucks, Evan. Roster is complete. I don't think a lot of big, shocking moves here one way or another, except maybe Cam Johnson making the roster, which I think is a great thing. He's a super talented kid. We'll see what he can do. But as you sit here, we've talked about it for a long time. But now it's game week almost in terms of you've got your 53. And, at the end of last season, to envision that you would have this roster, I think is absolutely as good as you could possibly hope for, and filling all the holes with Graham Barton and others, getting all your guys back, which many thought was completely impossible. I'm actually going to be talking to Jason Light, recording a podcast this afternoon, and I just don't think there's an executive out there that has come close to having his offseason And I think this team is poised to win another division title. What do you think?
Yeah, to me, I believe that it's their division unless told otherwise. So
Yeah.
I think that's as again a little feedback. I think that to me, this team is built for a pretty fun here. Now, I don't know if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. I think they're missing a couple of pieces.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that they are, at least at this point right now, with where they're at, how healthy they are, and when we talk about a fully healthy Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, I think that this group is a really dangerous group. And the one thing that I am willing to buy on and willing to tell everyone to bet on is that I do think that this rushing attack is finally going to be something.
Yes.
Now, will they be a top 10 rushing attack? I'm not saying all that. But the fact is they've been dead last the last 2 years. So and I think Rashad White said in the offseason, hey, we're not even like saying that we should be a top 10 rushing attack, but we believe that we're at least league average, 10 to 15. Like if we can get up to there, think about that's more time built off the clock. That's probably more first downs. That's more defense getting a blow. That's more yards. It just like there's such a ripple effect to having the rushing game, and it all starts there. So
and you're better in the red zone.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's right. That's going to be the telltale sign too, because we really don't know. I mean, it's great when you're playing Miami Dolphins backups, but we really don't know if they're going to start games fast like they did, like they didn't do last year, and B, are they going to be an improved team within the 20? So those things. Those are going to, and not to mention the third thing is that last year they were so good at forcing turnovers. That's always the X factor that you can't really predict in a season.
Right.
If they got to force the ball at least protect the ball on their own end and control what they can control. So those are kind of like, running game, red zone efficiency, turnover differential. Those are the three things I'm looking at. But yeah, I mean, if you're a Buccaneers fan, I'd be pretty jacked up for this team. And I still think this is a team on the incline. Like,
yeah,
next year might be the crescendo. Like next year, we might legitimately talk about, hey, this group is a Super Bowl caliber team. Watch out. So this isn't like hey, we're all in this year. Like this is still a team that's developing and growing. They're the second youngest team in the NFL, 44, 53 homegrown products. So there's a lot to really love about this group. And as long as everyone stays healthy, I'm backing them.
Evan, what do you think holds this team back from being a Super Bowl team this year? What's the biggest concern that you have for the 2024 Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, the edge rushing, the outside linebacker position. It's just, look, as important as the quarterback is on one side of the ball, having a guy who can win one-on-one battles on the other side is also just as important. They don't really have that dude. Now, I've heard a lot of great things about Yaya Diaby. I believe those great things, but I got to see it before I'm out here saying that Yaya Diaby is the answer. So the fact is, his pressure rate last year wasn't as sexy as his sack numbers, and that's a little bit concerning from a black and white standpoint of just looking at it. So I need to see that he's a dude who's going to consistently win one-on-one, then going to force the offense to say, hey, we got to double this guy, which then clears up Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, everybody else to be successful. And then these blitz packages from Todd Bowles will really shine having a threat like that. Until that happens, teams are just going to double in the trenches. They're not even going to run the ball, which is what we saw last year. Teams just said, screw it. We're not going to run. We're just going to throw it on them. And they had a lot of success. So until someone on the edges can win consistently, I don't think this team is going to hit its maximum value, which is why, I think when they clear the books and have more money next year and they feel like, hey, we're close to being a Super Bowl contender, if not a Super Bowl contender, I just see that position being such a glaring, like, please buy someone who can help here. And they've done those moves in the past. And I think that when we get to the end of the season, we're going to say, man, if they can just have someone who can get after the QB consistently, this team would be so much better.
Wholeheartedly agree, my friend. Thank you for your time. I think you're headed over to practice, but take a moment to promote whatever you guys got coming up on Channel 10.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys as always. And we're starting the Blitz, which will be our Bucs preview show. We're going to air our first one this weekend, this Sunday, which will be kind of a Bucs preseason primer, kind of get you prepared of everything that happened in the offseason, get you ready for week one next week. We'll air that on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. It'll be on 10tampabay.com. We'll see that on Sundays at 10 Tampa Bay in the morning at 8:30. And then also entering next week, once we get into that Commanders week, Sundays every morning, 8:30. And again, you can watch on the 10 Tampa Bay YouTube page and 10 Tampa Bay Plus app.
Awesome. That's going to be good stuff. So we get our Bucks Sunday started at 8:30 in the morning with your pregame show. I love that. That's the
right.
Breakfast with Evan. I like that
right.
on Bucks Sundays. That's outstanding. Appreciate that. Thank you, Evan.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Enjoy practice. It's hot out there.
Yes.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Then we're going to switch gears. Leo Haggerty is ready to go in the bullpen, and we'll talk some USF football. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group. The right-handers coming in. JEEVES lawgroup.com. Any issues in the legal realm, it is a free consultation. So go to the website and call them and tell them JP sent you. JeevesLawGroup.com, not attorney spokesman, offices St. Pete, Tampa. Back in 3. Celebrate August with the dazzling green hue of peridot, known for its vibrant and refreshing sparkle. Yes, that's the birthstone of August at the Gold and Diamond Source. Explore the Gold and Diamond Source's stunning collection of peridot jewelry, showcasing the gemstone's unique glow and versatility in rings, necklaces, and earrings. Peridot's distinctive color makes it a standout choice for any occasion, adding a touch of elegance and charm to your ensemble. Enjoy 15% off when you shop August Gems online only. Stop by the Golden Diamond Source to experience the allure of August Gem and let their expert staff help you find the perfect peridot piece. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmsted Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. Folks, they've been 60 years, named the Small Business of the Year Chamber of Commerce, mostly because of their incredible customer service. So they'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance, make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799, ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like Capelli al Granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat. Our Branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we roll on here.
Oh, my bad.
What was that?
that was a mistake on my part there.
I thought you were giving me the buzzer because I left the audio on and wanted to hear Feinbaum talk about Dion's reaction, which we'll get to a little bit later on in the show.
We all know that Feinbaum was just so tickled there to see FSU fall. I mean, oh my
Son
God!
of a bitch. That was the first thing I thought of when that field goal went through. Was I was washing down a Guinness at the end of the game there in Dublin. All right, let's bring in the great Leo Haggerty, who's been covering USF football in the spring and the fall. That's all he ever does is go to USF and hang out. I love it. Absolutely. What's up, Leo? How are you, man?
Well, I should get a Letterman jacket soon. And by the way, Peter, that was illegal procedure pushing in that button. Okay?
That's right. Thank you. All right. I like your shot a lot better too, Leo. You look great. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. Awesome. How's that? Is that a little better, maybe?
I love it. So yeah, we got lots of college football to get to, but you're here to talk about USF, and I know you got to get over to the media availability. So let's get right to it. It's been an interesting offseason. They brought in some transfer kids from the SEC and some big programs that hopefully will make a difference on defense. The offense was already pretty damn good. So where are we at as we look at this defense coming up week one here with the season opener?
Well, you know what, guys? What we need to understand about the NCAA is every rule favors the offense.
Right.
Again, RPOs, you can go 3 yards down the field. You know, you can't read the guard because if the guard fires out, you know, okay, you're going to step up. Well, guess what? That guard can go 3 yards and stop. So it's tough. If you can hold a team in the 20s, it's really a good defensive effort. If you hold them under 20, it's a great defensive effort.
Right, yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think this offense is going to just explode Saturday night. I think you're going to see it. And if you listen to Coach Golish yesterday, he said the biggest thing we got to work on is starting the game fast and keeping basically the pedal to the metal. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. Situational football, they didn't do well. I expect them to drop a 50-burger on Bethune-Cookman. Not because they're that bad. USF is that good. They've got talent. They've got size. They got speed. They got length. If this team can stay healthy through that first game, they got a shot at really being competitive up in Tuscaloosa the following week.
Besides quarterback, because we know that Brown, he's going to get all his accolades, and there's going to be a lot of attention on him, even some Heisman talk. What else will make a lot of USF fans happy? Is it the wide receiving core there? Is it the offensive line? Is it the running back situation? What have you learned from covering USF out there the last couple of weeks?
Well, you know what, Peter? They got a bevy of wide receivers. Sean Atkins leading the way. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win the Bullsworth Award. And if your listeners are not familiar with that, that's named after Brian Bullsworth, who was a walk-on at Arkansas, became an All-American, and tragically died before he even played a game as the first-round draft pick for the Indiana Colts in a car accident. He's got that kind of potential. Running back, hey, you'll never forget what Naquan Wright did to that poor Alabama defensive back when he basically trucked him. Yeah. So you're going to see that. But, guys, I think the biggest thing is if they can stay healthy. You know, you got Jalen Shuler back at linebacker, has over he makes tackles, during warm-ups. That's how good this guy is. And in the secondary, they've got length, which is amazing. They got guys 6'1", 6'2", playing back there, and they got a bevy of them. The key is stay healthy.
Yeah. Well, they got 19 starters returning, which is fantastic on a team that finally got to a bowl and not only got to a bowl, but destroyed Syracuse 45-0. That gives you momentum going into this season. And now you play a Bethune-Cookman team who you're favored by 40 points. And let's not forget, this is a lot better than, playing Wisconsin that beat them 49-0 in the opener. That just sets the stage for a bad season. And NC State will beat them 45-0. It's great to have a schedule like this before you go to Alabama to get a game where it's kind of a glorified practice. You can get out there and you should be able to roll up a lot of points. Now, if that doesn't happen, you lose the confidence. But when you're a 40-point favorite, I'm like you, Leo. I expect this to be attractive for them offensively.
Oh yeah, they want to do that. And you know what? I'm going to digress for a minute because this is what happened to Florida State over in Ireland. The worst thing that can happen to an offense is to get the football in their first series and just walk down the field. Because now, and as a coach, I would shout at our offense coming off the field, hey guys, it's not going to be that easy all game.
Right. Yeah.
The problem is the Seminoles, they exhale. They say, oh, same old Georgia Tech. And guess what?
This is going to be easy, right?
Yeah. And Georgia Tech punched back. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people are talking at Florida State being soft. I don't think they're soft. I think they read their press clippings. They thought Georgia Tech would roll over and play dead. Well, guess what? Florida State got beat up in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
That's right.
What has to happen with USF, and I'm going to draw an analogy here, is they've got to win the line of scrimmage. They've got to win it, and they got to win it big. Because if you can keep Byron Brown back there and keep him stable in the pocket, he's going to have maybe a career night. Yeah.
Well, I'd be looking forward to that for sure. And let's dig in on Byron a little bit. He's gone from a skinny 195-pound kid when he walked on campus at 17 years old to a grown-ass 225-pound NFL prospect in a couple of years. And we've had him on the show, and he's maybe a better human being than he is an athlete, and that's saying something. He is a prize. He is a prize, and he is a program changer. There's no question about it. You've spent a lot more time with him. Give me your thoughts on how special a player this kid is.
What we've seen so far this year is Byron Brown 2.0. JP, he's a bronze Adonis. The kid is enormous. And we saw him when he came in as this gangly, skinny kid, and all of a sudden, hey, when he breaks the line of scrimmage now, you're going to have to make a decision as a defensive back. And it's going to be a decision whether you want to tackle this guy because he doesn't slide too often. And
he needs to.
I know he does because you want to fight to play the next day.
That's right.
That's the key. Yeah. He's got to remember, I want to make it through 12 games because if he's healthy 12 games and they can avoid the injury bug, this team can win 9, maybe 10 games.
Do you expect him to break out this year? Because we learned from him talking to him that he was being coached up to stay in the pocket, not run so much. But with his athleticism, you would think this coaching staff would take advantage of it. So do you expect him to break out not only with the runs and the scrambles and mobility, but also with the passing numbers from learning how to throw from that pocket?
You know what, Peter, that's a great question because when you look at statistics from last year, and stats and film don't lie, there was only one quarterback that threw for more yards and ran for more yards than him. You want to guess who it is? Jaden Daniels. He had a pretty good season. In fact, Florida's still trying to find him on that 85-yard run. So that's crazy. Peter, I think what the key is for him to get back on that back foot. And this is why the offensive line is so important, led by Mike Lofton at center. And you got R.J. Perry, who's going to try to step in and get there because Donovan Jennings is going to be missed completely as a dad. I think he was there 7 years. I mean, God knows. He spent a whole career there. But if that offensive line can let Brown go through his progressions and not go one Mississippi and then, okay, I got to go. If he can go through 2 or 3 progressions before he's got to think about running, that's going to be the key because that's just going to extend the defense. Because when you watch USF, they set up sideline to sideline. Those guys, you got to cover the whole field. And that basically forces defense to play you man-to-man.
Leo Haggerty joining us here. All right, give me some money bet here. 40.5 is the spread. If you're running a play every 16 seconds, right? That's what the goal is. By the way, FSU's offense. Wow, if I see DJ Uiagalelei clap one more time, I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Oh.
So they're running plays that quickly. I think 40.5 going to have a nice opening crowd. You got Alabama the following week. Golish will want to run it up. I think I might lay the points. What do you think?
The only fear I have, JP, is let's say this team gets up, 35-7.
Right.
And he decides to take the starters out and rest them for the next week. That's my only fear.
Okay. All right.
But if not, I'm laying the points. I'm thinking 50, 55, 56 to 20.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, that's not a cover, though. That's not a cover.
Well,
Leo's saying not a cover.
I just think he's going to take the starters out. That's what scares me. So, you know what? I may stay away from that completely.
Okay, it's a lot of points. But early on, you look for teams that like it's the coach's personality. Like if he wants to score 40, if he wants to win by 40.5, and reward.
You're exactly right.
Reward the boosters, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, and get more booster money. Certain coaches have been known to do that. And I don't know if Golish is one of those guys. I mean, not like last year they could ever name a score. I think that at a game like this, they could name a score. And that's saying something.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. They may be to 40 at halftime.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to bet. I'm going to lay the points. I'm going to
lay the points, man. Lay the wood, as they say there.
Hopefully, we'll get Coach on tomorrow. We're working on getting him on as well. So then I'll just ask him directly. No.
Oh yeah. Good luck with that one.
we got NIL now, right? So everything's off the table. There are no rules anymore. We'll just ask him about the spread. Fantastic. No, we're not. We're not doing that. That was a joke.
Because he really went after a media member one time. He did that and said, "Hey, stay away from that, guys. Trust me.
Stay away from the spread." Yeah, absolutely. No, we're not asking you, Coach. We're just kidding. But let's cover. All right, Leo, tell everybody how they can find all your info and content on USF.
I'm getting ready to post my here's what I think column as soon as I'm done with you guys and head out to USF.
All right.
And I'm going to come out on your show and tell you, here's my prediction for the college football playoff championship.
Okay.
The Ohio State is going to hoist that trophy, but here's the surprise. They're going to play Miami in the final. Because Cam Ward is that missing piece.
Wow. I got the Gators beating Miami.
Good luck with that.
Anything can happen in the swamp. I know that for sure. I know that for sure.
Especially in the opener, right?
Don't I know it? Don't I know it? You never know what's going to happen. All right, so partner, appreciate you.
Amped Up Sports. That's the way you can find us.
Amped Up Sports.
Tonight.
Love you, Leo. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Good stuff, my
friend.
Leo Haggerty right there.
Saturday.
Yep. See you there. Yes.
Ohio State. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we will be covering it for Amped Up Sports and the Sports Web. Yours truly, the legend himself, Leo Haggerty, and two made men that have been running with me the last couple of years, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, and best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. That's right, Kennedy. You don't necessarily just have to call the show anymore. You're actually
he's part of the family. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love that guy. So, yes.
All right. Good deal. Let's go ahead and take a break. And coming up at 11:30, John Talty from CBS Sports covers college football, has been for a long, long time, has a new book out. Where's that book?
I know you're trying to find that book right now as we're going to break. Yes.
It's The Price. Armin Kitayan and John Talty, two folks that have covered the NFL and college football for 40, 50 years.
Wow.
Great perspective on where it's been, where it's going, where it's at. So we'll do that at 11:30. When we come back, we're going to talk Bucks and some more college football as well. Lots to get to here on the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo, our good friend over there, will get your testosterone right. He will get your nutrition right, get your workouts right, get your sleep right, everything that you need to remain and be healthy. With that Bay Area Modern Medical Center, it's not just about calling them when you get sick. It's about staying healthy. What a great idea. And that's what they've helped me do, helped Peter do, Nick do, everybody. Except Tim. Tim's still unhealthy because he lives in Dallas. So we got to get him on some telemed with Bay Area Modern Medical Center. BAMMC.com. We love you, Tim. Back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this hump day, along with Peter Blake from the Sports Web. We thank all of our great sponsors, including Third Generation Plumbing and AC. It's hot out there. If your AC goes on the fritz, you got to call them. Go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. That's the website. Call John Rodriguez over there, my good buddy. He'll send out a professional tech who will do a great job. Show up in a nice, clean uniform, be very respectful to you, and get the job done in an honest and wonderful manner. That's what they do over there. They've been doing it forever at Third Generation Plumbing since 1995, either plumbing or AC, whatever you need, any kind of service at your house, really, they can handle it. So you just call somebody that has a great reputation, look at all the Google reviews, and you know you're getting an honest tech. That's all you want, right? And that's what you get with Third Generation Plumbing and AC. It's like having a buddy in the business. So call them and tell them JP sent you at thirdgenerationplumbing.com and tell them JP sent you. All right.
Yeah, just throw the whole house away, by the way. I mean, if you can't get it fixed, throw the whole house away, throw the whole car away, because it's about 90 degrees with humidity. It makes it feel like it's 109 degrees. It's kind of, again, it's kind of like my kitchen on a Saturday night. Everything burns, and that's what you feel like when you go outside. It's almost like you're gonna melt at this point.
I was in London and Dublin for a week, and when I stepped off the plane in Orlando, when the doors opened at baggage claim, I was like, "Holy crap! I forgot about this soup, man." It was so wonderful. We had great weather over there, just a little bit of rain during the game, but we were covered. All the stadiums over there are covered, by the way. Very good idea. Great idea. We should learn a little bit more from them about that. And that's because of all the rain they get. But for over here, we need shade, for God's sakes. We need shade.
We need some shade.
Those poor Buccaneer fans are going to be sitting in that roasting on the east side. Oh, you poor folks.
Get your suntan lotion ready. The thing is hot. It is hot out there. And anybody, right. How we've changed as sports fans in the Tampa Bay area, how you wanted an open air stadium for the Rays. And now it's like, it's either got to be retractable or a dome, especially a dome, because every year it just seems like it gets hotter and hotter here. I don't know. Maybe
I think the sun, I read an article the other day that said the sun feels hotter because the lack of pollution. Like we have cut pollution levels dramatically in the last 30 years. Like I remember driving around in LA and you couldn't see the mountains. When I lived in LA for a little bit when I was a kid, you could not see the mountains because of the smog. It was so bad. And I remember, just hazy days because of, there was a lot more emissions going out into the world. And we do a great job here in the United States of limiting emissions, even with our coal and gas and oil production, mostly because we use a lot more natural gas than we ever have. Sure. We used, and that's fantastic. We've done a great job with it. A lot of these other crazy things that we're trying to do cost billions and billions of dollars and yield nothing in reasonable savings, green savings at all. They're just more for punitive and control methods. But everywhere else around the globe, especially in China, they're polluting the hell out of the world. So it's like, what are we doing? It's the same air. It circulates the globe. If they're not doing anything, that's a problem. So, right. But anyway, it's the sun feels hotter. The sun feels hotter. Like there's no doubt about it because there's less pollution filtering. I'm like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I remember being in the sun and it was okay. But now it's like you sit out in a game, in one seat where you got to sit for, 45 minutes at a time, maybe longer. And there's no shade from the clouds or anything. It's brutal, man. I don't know how fans do it. I really don't. I just pray for cloud cover, overcast day. I'll even take a little bit of rain. Just not direct 98 degree temperatures, direct sunlight. It's brutal. It's freaking brutal.
Yes.
So hopefully this new Buck Stadium, which we are going to start talking about soon, will have some type of shade. I don't necessarily know if we need a dome, but if we want more Super Bowls, we're going to need that. Do they retrofit Raymond James Stadium like they did Hard Rock Stadium in Miami to put a roof on it? I mean, that's something that we'll certainly talk about. I still love my idea. I don't know if you heard my great idea here.
Of course I did. I always listen to your
That's
ideas
right.
on your show. It gets me through the day where I don't have to talk to Gertrude or Esther. No offense to anybody else.
We could do this whole Bucks Rays thing over again.
Yeah.
Or if we still have time to save us from that disaster over there.
Good luck with that, JP.
Backgrounds, and the Seminoles would love to write a check for it because they need more room.
Sure.
That state land right across the interstate, right? You got state land. We'll go ahead and gift that land to them, and we can do a football stadium, like right. You got the outdoor football stadium, and then you have the baseball stadium attached to it. So not the same field, but separate fields and separate area. But what you share is like a superstructure in the middle that has a huge casino and all the bars and restaurants attached to it that serve both stadiums. So there's a lot of dual things that you have to do if you were doing two separate stadiums in terms of offices and maintenance and all these things that you would have. You'd have this redundancy that you wouldn't have to pay for. You'd only need one maintenance shed, so to speak, right? You only need one area for bars and restaurants that serve both stadiums. And you could have like the left field line share the length of that. You can even have luxury boxes up on top that go to both stadiums.
Yeah.
I mean, so many things you could do if you had the land and the ability to do it. That would probably cut the cost of two stadiums by maybe 35, 40%. And because you would have all that shared, and then you have shared parking, you'd have, a bright line stop coming right there to both stadiums and the entertainment district right there with the huge casino. And again, it wouldn't take a lot of public money to build this because the Seminole Indians would very much like to have all of that and be able to use that. And not that they would own the teams. Obviously, the Glazers would own one. Whoever would be owning the Rays would be a huge plus too. And here's the kicker, baby. You have a sliding roof.
Whoa.
Yeah, instead of the sliding, fields underneath, you have a big shade on top that slides back and forth. So you only have to build one roof on those stadiums, and it just slides back and forth. And if you want to have an outdoor game, if the weather's nice in April and May for baseball, plus you have grass fields on both sides because you slide the roof and get the grass, get the air on it, and then when it's hot, you slide the roof back over. For football games in September and early October, slide the roof over, get Super Bowls because you now have a roof. And then when the weather gets nice, you can slide it back over. Freaking brilliant. Brilliant.
Yes. Yeah. Why did they hire you in the first place to do this? To come up with
solved all the problems, bro.
Right. Why not?
Solve all the world's problems.
Could have did it and it didn't.
I mean, you're gonna have to write a $2 billion check for if you do a new football stadium, new football stadium, that's gonna cost you at least $2 billion in today's inflationary market. And so a lot of this could be shared. And wouldn't it be awesome to have like one site for both? And if you build it out at the fairgrounds, you have much more accessibility from Orlando and points east that are growing, because you can't grow west where your baseball stadium is because it's freaking water.
There's water there.
Fish don't buy tickets.
Well, you never.
Fish buy as many tickets as skateboarders, by the way, but that's a whole nother deal.
Right, there you go. City Connect uniforms.
Maybe next year we'll have City Connect fish uniforms. So that would have been awesome, and it would have saved a lot of money and had a great. That would be state of the art. Can you imagine a complex like that? Imagine a complex like that. What you could do in terms of concerts. In the baseball stadium area could be kind of your amphitheater, or would replace the amphitheater that does how many dates a year. So you have another, 50 to 75 dates for concerts. All the major events, the WWE's college football national championship. Now you have a dome.
Yes.
And bringing it to the Tampa Bay area, right? And then you have, my God, you talk about an economic impact. You're back in the ball game for college national championship games, back in the ball game for Super Bowls. All the SmackDowns and all those things that bring huge audiences, future World Cups or whatever the hell. With a complex like that in Florida, and you still have the infrastructure of tourism for a baseball, which is 81, absolute dates. Football gives you 10. USF has their own stadium, but you could still play, preseason games, kickoff classics, bowl games. All kinds of stuff in something like that. It would be, it would be open. It would be open, 365, 24/7 with the casino and everything else.
Sure.
It would be flipping unbelievable. And they would put so much money through there. Holy crap. And you have the deep pockets there to make something like that happen. But instead we're going to, we'll do a half-ass thing in St. Petersburg. No disrespect to St. Petersburg. We love you, but we all know that ain't going to work. It's already a bad idea. We haven't even shovels aren't even in the ground. And then the population center to that area within a half hour's drive, you're looking at 3 million people. Okay. At least within an hour's drive of that, you're looking at close to 10 million people. That's significant. And major airports in Orlando, in Tampa, St. Petersburg, the Lakeland Airport would certainly grow, but it's going to grow as well. And you got the infrastructure of the Bright Line coming through. To me, that answers all your questions in terms of access, affordability, major economic impact. You get your football stadium done, you get your baseball stadium done, all in the right areas, all done in a professional, like state of the art manner. That would be an event place that just would be unrivaled. It would be better than SoFi. It would be better than Jerry World. It would be better than Atlanta. It would be better than anything because there's so many other things you could do. You have Super Bowl in the football stadium. You could you could sell tickets in the baseball stadium with a jumbotron. You could sell 170,000 tickets
You get an all-star game at that point. I mean,
you get an all-star game.
I mean, there's
hell,
so many good things.
we could play an outdoor freaking a hockey game there.
Look at you already planning that, which there's been talk of that happening with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I don't know how that would work out, but anything.
Well, if you had the safeguards of having a roof over it, that if if the rain came, at least you'd get the game in.
Yeah,
could you just roll the roof back over, and if it's if it's a nice day in February or whatever, you roll the roof back. You have an outdoor game. So the possibilities are endless. And if you couldn't make money on that deal, it's because you're maximizing the space, you're maximizing the efficiency of it, because it would serve so many events. It would be nonstop, and certainly the most accessible place in all of Tampa Bay.
Beautiful.
But the people in Pinellas will have to drive farther. Well, the people in Pinellas won't even drive to the Rays Stadium. So
listen to you. We'll see.
I love you, but they're like, we're too busy at the beach, man.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll say hopefully the gas prices will drop eventually if people don't want to drive gas cars. I've kind of discovered the Tesla, driving an electric car.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
How much does it cost to charge that thing?
$15 to $20. And listen, you have to wait 40 minutes. People go, well, you have to wait 40 minutes. Okay, so you put on the JP Peterson show, or you put on a broadcast like the Sports Web. You sit back, you go to Wawa, you get something to eat.
Nice.
You kind of rest your mind and relax a little bit, take a deep breath, and then by the time you're done with all that, you're ready to go out there, do some Uber or drive wherever you want to get like 260 range. It's not bad. And it's
not bad at all.
Yes. Plus, it's fast, too. You got big trucks on the road. They're trying to run you off the road. And you're like, okay, boss. All right, I understand you want to be from the Dukes of Hazzard or whatever. You want to run me off the road. I'm about to go 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. See you later, bud. Boss.
Nice. Nice.
Yes. So I discovered that. Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
So look, we got, there's things coming up that, in terms, and of course the Bucks could build a structure like that without the baseball stadium, maybe an amphitheater without the Rays, but man, what could have been, if we just had some leadership in this entire area, and some ownership in terms of the baseball owner that could make something like that happen. That would have been absolutely phenomenal. But unfortunately, that was not the case. But I hope that everything works out in St. Pete. I hope it's tremendously successful. And if it's not,
well, you got this right here.
Well, if just saying, what if we still have the same issues because of the location, and you pour $1.6 billion of public money into a baseball stadium that is still drawing flies,
right?
I mean, what do you at that point? You can't get the money back.
Nope.
You can't get the money back.
It becomes a Marlins situation. It becomes a Pirate situation where the fans
becomes the Marlins situation. That's exactly what it is.
That's a disaster. That is
and to believe that we could, both cities could make such idiot mistakes with so much money at stake is unconscionable. But never underestimate the idiocy and the inefficiency of government, my friend. Never underestimate that, because it's not their money and they don't care. All they care is about getting their names on buildings and so-called and protecting their political legacy. And I guarantee you all of their political legacies, just like the people who did the Miami deal, will be history. But good luck with it. Good luck. I hope it all works out. I really, really do. I'm pulling for you. I hope it all works out. I really want everything to be fantastic for that entire area, and Stu to make another, couple $1 billion because he needs it.
Oh yeah.
I hope it all works out.
Yeah.
It all works out.
Little sisters of the poor, man. That's what they are.
I know. They need the money. You know how much money he's lost on that team? You know how much money he's lost on that team and owning it for 14, billions of dollars. Billions that he just willingly gave of his own money to all the people of St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay. Such a absolutely giving man.
Yes,
he should so much money they've lost.
He should be
really should
for Halloween. I mean, come out there and
no, he should. He's like Mother Teresa.
Yes,
the giving never stops. The giving never stops. He's a giver. He's a giver to the community. I mean, look how much he's given.
Yeah, he gives everybody a headache with watching this offense every night.
Yeah.
Under 200. Yeah, love
All
that.
right, let's get to some of the comments here, shall we?
Plenty of comments. Put your glasses on there. Of course, we also got open phone lines. If you didn't know, we call this Sports Swag. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the JP Peterson Show on a happy hump day edition. So
good morning, Nathan. See, you've been drinking. He says the Trop was placed there to, quote, unite Hillsborough, Manatee, Pinellas, and Sarasota counties. That's why it is right off of I-275.
was he being, is he?
No, he's a big, he lives down in Sarasota, so he loves the new Trop idea.
Okay.
When 80% of the people that come to the games, which are from Hillsborough, when you place it there, maybe if you live in Sarasota, it might look like a uniting thing. But for people in Hillsborough County and Points East, which is where all the population is, it's not. So, and that's off of I-275. And that's it. You got one access in, one access out. Nothing east-west, just north and south, one highway. And when the games are crowded, it's a nightmare. And it will still be a nightmare. And parking garages, folks, putting 30,000 people into parking garages that are getting let out at the same time, good luck with that.
We got some breaking news, by the way, not having to do with baseball. It is with Tim Ham's Dallas Cowboys. The pick that could have been Dalvin Cook is signing with the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to pair him with Ezekiel Elliott. Does that move the needle for you for the Cowboys? Does that make them a complete team after Jerry basically ponied up about $34 million a year for CD Lamb? Dalvin Cook.
30 million. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike Evans, by the way.
By the way, yeah. Thank you to Mike Evans' wife, because there was a report that came out on the broadcast. I don't know if you saw this on Friday, which would have dug a knife in every Buccaneer fan's back, where he could have taken more with the Los Angeles Rams. Can you imagine possibly the greatest offensive player of all time going to the LA Rams? I mean, the Rams have absolutely made the Bucs in their history miserable by defeating him in 79 NFC Championship, the 99 NFC Championship, and who could forget the divisional championship there with Tom Brady, which you're only a couple plays away from basically repeating if you don't lose Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin, and of course Antonio Brown going crazy that year. I feel like they could have beaten anybody that year, but of course the Rams, Cooper Kupp, and Matt.
You're saying Mike Evans could have been an LA Ram?
Yes.
I thought it was Houston and Kansas City.
Well,
it was all of them.
This report came out the other night. They were on the broadcast.
Interesting.
Yes.
Nathan says, I love you, Nathan. No, not drinking yet. I was there when it was being discussed and presented back when it was first built. I do not care about the new or old Trop. I am a season pass member with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought you liked the new Trop idea. I may be mistaken. But wouldn't you love the dual idea, the dual stadium idea, Nathan? Wouldn't you love that? I would love that. Of course you would. That'd be fantastic. Because we'd get so many more events that we're not going to get. Dalvin Cook and Zeke are past their prime. I agree, my friend. I agree, James. I think James is right. I love Dalvin Cook. He was one of the greatest Seminoles of all time. Single-handedly beat Miami 2 or 3 times. He was one hell of a running back, but the injuries have caught up with him, and I don't think he's not the guy he used to be.
Nope.
I like the Rays, but I choose Buccaneers. You're damn right you do.
All right.
What else we got?
James says, I don't believe Evans was ever leaving. I mean,
clearly.
Evans even said it on NFL Live or NFL Network, where he was absolutely considering Houston as his hometown. And who wouldn't? CJ Stroud there with, the emergence of him and what he did as a rookie with all the weapons there you have. And then on top of it, Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that Mike Evans is almost like an afterthought to the national media? Can you imagine Evans joining Patrick Mahomes and how many Super Bowls they could possibly win? As scary as that sounds, because Mahomes finally has a number one wide receiver that he hasn't had the last couple of years. And by the way, that hasn't still stopped him from winning a Super Bowl after they lost Tyreek Hill.
It's interesting that, and I'll ask Jason Light this today. We're going to record it today for tomorrow's show. Sorry, Peter. I tried to get him on live, but he's got business.
I got you.
He's a businessman.
He is. Best GM in the business, by the way.
So you beat out the Rams, the Chiefs, the Texans for Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Like, what's your secret, my man? What's your secret? And we've talked about this. The secret is called relationships and culture and building relationships. Mike was his first draft pick, and their families are friends. The whole organization is a family, and you don't turn your back on family, and you draft players who share those values. So when they get here, they're part of the culture, they're part of the family, and it's not all about money. It's not a bunch of mercenaries running around trying to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Dallas, New York, all these other places where it's just about, and I think Kansas City's built that to some degree as well.
Sure.
They've built a great culture there, where guys want to stick around, unless you're, Tyreek Hill, and you're just, you got to go get your, and I don't blame him, because for him, it should be all about the money. I mean, having, 55 kids by 30 different moms, that's expensive. That's expensive. Or sorry,
of course.
Okay, all right, so it's 10 kids.
Inflation is happening.
With inflation, that dude needs $30 million a year to pay just the child support.
Absolutely.
Child care ain't cheap.
No, of course it's not. Nothing is cheap these days.
That's right.
As we speak right now, he's got a kid on the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Another one. I don't think a shovel will ever be put in the dirt, says James in St. Pete, especially after the bonus scandal. We haven't really talked about the bonus scandal. The mayor came out and said, I'm going to give $250,000 worth of bonuses to all the people who worked on this great negotiation of screwing the people of St. Pete. So not only do we just screw you out of $1.6 billion in public money, we're going to screw you out of another 250,000 taxpayers to the people who gave away your money to the billionaire. And oddly enough, Peter, that was not well received.
No.
The taxpayers finally went, you know what? I know, Mayor, it's in your purview to do so, but I don't think that's a great idea. So that quickly got rescinded.
Amazing how that works.
That's a ballsy move, Mayor. I gotta say. I mean, does he just never want to get reelected? Like, wow. Like, we just gave away $1.6 billion, but we're not done. I'm giving away another $250,000 of your taxpayer money to the people who made that bid.
You get money. You get money. You get money. That's called hush money at that point. He's like Oprah Winfrey at this point, giving away money.
James Clay's corrupt mayor. Come on, this stadium deal is a joke. Whoever buys Rays will not build in St. Pete. That's true. So we shall see. We shall see. Maybe it's not. Driving up 175 from Braden, that they would have to fix Riverview, Gibsonton, and Sun City exits. Yes, they would. For sure on that. Thank you.
Good luck with it. Because anytime you fix construction, it takes about 8 years to get that done.
What else? Nathan Elliott says, I pulled the tarp off of Malcolm Glazer when he was inducted into the Ring of Honor. Did you really? Wow, that was awesome.
Great, Nathan.
Nathan's a Bucks fan, man. I've been working outside for over 27 years. Quit whining, JP. It feels hotter because you're older. That's 100% true. That's 100% true. God bless you, brother. Dems want to spend all the money while we sit right behind Malcolm Glazer in section 332. We are very front row with the seats are awesome. They are hot, yes, but they are fantastic, and I would not trade them. So you're on the east side in the on the top level of the grill. You're right underneath the broiler, close to the sun. God bless you, Nathan. Holy crap.
Black hole
That's
sun.
Hot.
Yeah.
That is hot. If it's retractable, William Madden says it won't be open after Memorial Day. Yeah, but you could have the first Memorial Day is the beginning or summer after. That's the beginning, right? Yeah. But April and May at night are beautiful here. I would much rather have an open air baseball stadium in April and May. I mean, you can get some June nights that are really, really nice.
Sure.
I would love outdoor, and that would give you, a third of your season would be outdoors. And if you made it to October, you could have some outdoor games as well in baseball. I would love that. I would love that.
Absolutely. And
fixed roof is, if I could have, with my druthers, and if you had the two stadium sliding roof theory, right, then that would work.
Well, you miss out on the home field advantage because up north, Chicago is doing it now. Minnesota has done it. Do you miss out on a home field advantage with Tampa Bay, with teams coming down here and not being able to deal with the heat? And how would you keep it open? Would you keep it closed? Does it help? Because you would have to think it helps the Bucks the way they train in it. So you miss that home field advantage. So there's good.
That's a misnomer. I've debunked that. We've
Okay.
debunked that on the show.
Okay.
Debunked that on the show. Thanks to Jeff Fain, the former Notre Dame super smart Notre Dame center that played here, also played in Cleveland, also played in New Orleans. He said that's a misnomer because in your practicing in the heat, now they have the indoor facility, which is good, which they should practice in more during. He believes. He goes, because you never get used to the heat. It's just hot, and if you train in it all the time, you're just drained. He said he was more drained on Sundays because he was out in the heat all week long. So when he got to the game on Sunday, he didn't have as much energy because he'd been drained in the heat all week long, which kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? I mean, I would be interested to see how much better they played if they you split it up, like one day you're in, one day you're out, one day you're in, one day you're out. I think that would be because you still getting used to it, but you're not as depleting your system of water every single day. If you're depleting your entire system and then replenishing it every single day because you're practicing outside, it was his thought that by Sunday comes, you're just drained. You're not used to it when you get out there. That makes sense to me.
Makes sense.
I'm no doctor. We got to get Lugo on. I'm going to ask Lugo about that.
We definitely need to do that.
When he comes on tomorrow, I'm going to give him a little overnight assignment to look that up. We got to get Jeff said he'd come back on the show too. So super guy, loved him. Did his show for 3 years. We did an afternoon show, the Jeff Fain show. Super smart guy, fun guy, great dude. All right, any other great comments from you wonderful people?
Well, let's go out to Nathan here. I'm not at the top of the staircase to heaven. I do not sit in row C, C, or PD. I'm very front row. Nobody in front, nobody behind us. Nice breeze.
That's a great seat, though. That's a great seat. Like when you're like in the front row of the upper deck, man, that is a fantastic seat. And for the price, it's even better because it's like half the price of the lower level seats. But that's a grill. You're not the closest to heaven,
right? I want to go out to James here. Evans, Buck for life. He will get another Super Bowl in Tampa. This team is loaded. No one talks about this team and how it's built on draft and keeping your players. They will win. Bucks will win 12 this year.
James is bullish. I'm kind of with Klosky on this. I think to be a great team, to be a 12-win team, you need that outside dominant pass rusher. You just need that guy. He could be that guy. He could be that guy. And to me, it's more about the overall pass rush. But if you have to manufacture pressure, you're giving up something in the back end.
Sure.
You never want to give up anything in your back end. Never. So you need that guy up front. I think that's kind of the missing piece. So, all right. What else do I want to get to? We got John Talty coming up here in just a little bit to talk about the pride. What it takes to win in college football's era of chaos.
Wow.
It is an era of chaos. That's for damn sure.
That's why.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that, I finally finished watching the FSU Georgia Tech tape. A couple of things. And I know we talked a lot about this yesterday. DJU I would say I give him a 6.5 out of 10. He missed a couple of big plays that could have been, and FSU makes any one of 6 plays, they win the game. They fall on that fumble that Lundy tried to scoop up. What are you doing, bro? Fundamentally, they were so bad. You fumble on the ground. Get on the effing ball.
Yes.
Don't try to scoop and score, bro. Not when there's people around you. And he got beat to that football. He was there. There was 5 Seminoles around it. So any one of them could have gotten it. But you got greedy and you tried to scoop and score and be the superstar and then go ask for some more NIL money because you went to Colorado and then you came back. Get on the goddamn ball. And then he misses the tackle on the last play that set up the field goal, just whiffs on that tackle.
He was terrible.
DJ Lundy was absolute. He made one play in the game. He was awful.
Yeah. He made
and
Devin White look good.
So many of it's a very Devin White type of performance. Can't get off a block, just trying to make big plays, going out of discipline. Just terrible game. All the linebackers were terrible. The safeties were even worse. Those safeties were terrible. The up front guy and the defensive ends, Marvin Jones Jr. and Patrick Payton, didn't make a play all game long. Both of those guys make, big money guys, didn't make a damn play all game long. Coaching was not good. They can definitely fix a lot of that stuff. They can fix a ton of it with different personnel, and I trust Mike Norvell to do it. But there were a lot of missed opportunities in that game that they could have won the game. And I'll tell you what, Haynes King made 4 or 5 plays that were pretty lucky, frankly, pretty lucky. But he played great. He played great, and he played with fantastic resolve and a lot more energy and passion than anybody else did. And FSU looked like they were going through the motions, man. Just going through the motions, no fire. When they had an opportunity with 6 minutes left, they go down and convert 2 4th downs, 6 minutes left on the clock. Your defense is out there in 3rd and 7 and a 3rd and 12, and you can't get off the goddamn field to get the ball back for your offense because you're just getting absolutely trucked at the line of scrimmage. I mean, and the chop is going like it's Doak Campbell Stadium. I mean, the energy is off the freaking charts for your team, and your defensive players are out there lollygagging, getting steamrolled. That's bad. That's bad.
Well, you knew from the first play. You knew something was up because the first play they get that screen and nobody's coming up. Nobody is shedding their block to come up there and meet the runner. And then all of a sudden the runner's got 20, 30 yards on the field. And you're like, oh, no, this defense is not good right now. They're not in it. And it just seemed like they relaxed. And like you said, Lundy was just Devin White-esque, not able to shed, not tackling, no interest. I saw I thought it was Lundy or another linebacker just run up and stand there like he was having a conversation of what are you having for lunch today, Georgia Tech, because he didn't shed the block. He didn't try to tackle. He just sat there and did nothing. I mean, the defense did nothing at all. Was disappointing,
very terrible,
to say the least. I mean,
terrible. No adjustments. And I saw a video where Mike Norvell took the heat for the loss. And he said, I didn't have you guys prepared, and he didn't. He didn't make the necessary adjustments. Didn't let DJ throw the ball downfield soon enough. And DJ missed some throws. He missed some throws that could have been touchdowns. Yeah. And I guess that's why. But it's on 3rd and 7, late in the game, and you're running the ball when they've got 9 guys in the box, 9, and they constantly. Georgia Tech brought their safeties up every single play. Meanwhile, FSU played their safeties 50 or 12 yards deep the entire game against a team that doesn't throw the ball downfield. And what are you doing? And you're getting gashed in the run game. How do you not bring the freaking safety up and put in some guys that can shut down the run, that play the run? I mean, you got 240-pound defensive ends out there, that can't set the edge. They're not throwing the football. So what good is having pass rushers setting, as your defensive ends when you're getting trucked? Make a freaking adjustments. Get them out of the game. Yeah. Do something. Make them do something different besides just turn around and hand off the football. Terribly called game. No adjustments. FSU's, the players weren't accountable. The coaches were not accountable. Nobody had a good game. And you get, a Georgia Tech team that brought 16 players back. That was a game ripe for the upset. No question about it. And they pulled it off, and they did a hell of a job. Full credit to Georgia Tech. They did a hell of a job. All right, quick break. We're going to talk some more college football when we come back. John Talty, CBS Sports, the co-author of The Price, What It Takes to Win in College Football's Era of Chaos, along with Armin Katayan. We'll talk to John Talty when we return. We're brought to you by the great folks at Cafe Paradiso, my good friend Paolo Tini over there with the Branzini. That's a sea bass. I just love the way he says that. It's fantastic. They have the great traditional Italian food over there, great prices as well, an incredible atmosphere. It's right there on South McDill, about 5-6 blocks north of Gandy. Easy to get to. Great family-owned restaurant. Keep it local, folks. Cafe Paradiso, voted number 3 on Open Table of the top 10 restaurants in Tampa Bay. How about that? Cafe Paradiso. Go see my man Paulo. Back in 3. Stay with us.
This is The Strike. 1025 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Gold and Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the well-sponsored JP Peterson Show. We love all our sponsors because we get to talk about college football, which we love so much here, and we would love to welcome in the author, along with Armin Contayan, of The Price. There it is, folks. This is this beautiful book right here you're seeing. What It Takes to Win in College Football's Era of Chaos. He is John Talty. He is a national college football writer for CBS Sports, 247 Sports, and the author of the Wall Street Journal's bestseller, The Leadership Secrets of Nick Saban. And that is a book that I need to read as well. John, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Good. Appreciate you having me on. Book looks good.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. And you told me about the Jimbo Fisher chapter 11. I opened the book just like to get to chapter. It opened right to that page. One of my favorite stories. I'm a huge Jimbo Fisher critic as a Florida State fan.
So you're gonna love that chapter.
Yes, I will love it. Give me an overall view of the book, because I think this is, without question, I've been covering college football for almost 40 years, and this is a time of chaos like I've never seen before. I'm not going to say I didn't see it coming, because I have, and I'm sure you have, for 20 years. There was an economic model that was unconstitutional and at some point was going to crumble. And here we are. This is not what I'd hoped for, to be quite honest. Is this the basic premise of the book?
Yeah, it's a big part of that. I mean, I think you look at, like you said, I think a lot of people saw this coming, and there were so many opportunities along the way to maybe build a system that could have made sense or create some leeway along the way. And for a lot of times, the NCAA, and it's not just the NCAA, it's its members too, but they put their head in their sand. They fought every step of the way. There were a lot of, there are multiple lawsuits before the big ones that we might talk about, but they fought them on it. They tried to win, and for a long time they won. A long time it worked. They would fight every little thing that they could do to maybe make the athletes' lives better. And what eventually happened is they had a long losing streak now in courts. It seems like every other day they're losing a court case. And what it's done is create a system that's completely unregulated. People can kind of do whatever they want, and some have benefited greatly from that, and that's good for them. But I think it's also created a lot of challenges. And, I think especially the coaches, the ADs, people who are deep inside this world are facing the brunt of this. They're facing a situation where guys can leave, they can transfer in and then leave a couple months later and get money on both sides of things. There's essentially free agency twice a year. I know they're trying to change that right now, but it just created this completely unregulated, wild market, which, some, again, have been able to financially capitalize on that to great success. But it's, we talk to all these coaches and people who are inside it, and they're stressed. There's quite a few who are thinking about taking the exit ramp. And I think that's one of the concerns moving forward is if you can't get some rules around it, if you can't build a sustainable system moving forward, you might lose some good people along the way.
John Talty joining us here. Here's the question. Why did it not happen in a reasonable way? It's my belief it was all about greed. A lot of people that run this system are very rich and have gotten rich off the players' backs, and they didn't want to give up the power and the money. Is it as simple as that?
Greed is a core concept throughout this book. I think that money drives most major decisions in college sports. I think if you look at all of the conference realignment we've seen, what drives that? It's money. It's pursuit of that that almighty dollar. And so I think it's some powerful people who are making a lot of money for a long time who liked the way things were. It was it was good for them for a long time. And I think what's so interesting, and I think you've been doing this for a long time. I think you go back 15-20 years, it was taboo, the idea of players getting paid. And I think a lot of fans were fine with how things were. And I think what happened, going back to money, is the coaching salaries got so huge. I think it turned the public tenor where you think, all right, this guy's making $1 million. That's a lot of money, but okay, I get it. To Nick Saban's making $12 million a year and the workforce is making $0. Like, I think that people are like, that's not okay. That's not fair. And I think that helped push us to this moment that we're in right now, where they just took too much of the money. The money got too big and it wasn't getting shared equally. And that turned people to want to fight more to get the players a cut, to kind of the moment that we're at right now.
We kind of thought that, or we assumed that Nick Saban walked away because of the way the college football system is. Would you expect any other coaches, say a Dabo Sweeney, to walk away eventually because he hasn't embraced the transfer portal? Could you see a coach like that walking away because this system, we don't know if it's going to be corrected or not, but at this point, he hasn't embraced it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you, another one where I talked to a lot of people who are close to Kirby Smart, and they've all told me he's not coaching until he's 70. Like the pace that he's at right now, what it's taking him, like he might do it for another 10 years, maybe 15, but like he's the top coach in the game right now. And they're like, if it keeps at this pace, it's not sustainable. Like he's just not going to do that to himself. And so, that to me would be a big concern. But you're right, with somebody like Dabo, who's made a lot of money and has not been willing to adapt to this current world, whether it's him walking away or whether maybe there's pressure for him to walk away. I think this is an important year for Clemson, and it's a good, I think, kind of tale of two tapes of playing Georgia this year, where Georgia has not maybe gone all in on NIL, but they're smart about how they go about things, and they've added some really good talent, including a guy like Trevor Etienne out of the portal. Dabo has not been willing to do that. It's been very stubborn about it. And is that sustainable? I don't know that it is, especially if they're not able to have the success that people expect them to have. So, whether it's a year or 2 years from now, if it doesn't change, I think Dabo's going to there'll be some hot seat questions around him.
John Talty is our guest from CBS Sports, covers college football. The name of the book is The Price, What It Takes to Win in College Football's Era of Chaos. And speaking of chaos, the Florida State program, my beloved Florida State program, I'm still a little inebriated from Dublin. It's obviously they're in a very precarious situation. How do you see this playing out? We've talked a lot about it on this show. I think they're going to end up in the Big Ten and will announce next year. I thought they were going to announce this year. But I think there'll be a settlement and they'll be in the Big Ten. What is your thought?
The Big Ten's always made the most sense to me because it allows the Big Ten, which is now billing itself as a national conference, having West Coast schools up to Maryland and Rutgers, to plant their flag in Florida. That to me has always made a lot of sense. You're going into the SEC's backyard. You're tapping into a big TV market. I think it makes sense for both sides. I've always been curious to see, what the SEC does. I've talked to, very knowledgeable people within the SEC for years about it. They've always said that that Florida State is not a school that would be at the top of their list, which I believe to 100% be true. But I've always just kind of wondered, like, if they think a move to the Big Ten is imminent, do you try to, maybe we don't necessarily want them, but like we don't necessarily want the Big Ten in Florida. Do we try to make a move there? That I think is one of the questions that, again, everything that I've been told is that it's not going to happen, but you just don't know when push comes to shove. And, because I can just go back to, the Texas and Oklahoma thing and talking to people around the SEC, what they said was, it wasn't necessarily that we were looking to add them, but when they became available, we didn't want anybody else to grab them. And, Florida State, Notre Dame, probably the top two. Overall, for the SEC, I've always been told it's UNC and Virginia that are at the top of their list because it allows them to tap into new markets. But there's just not a lot of top programs available right now. And, Florida State seems like one of, if not the top 2 or 3 program available and would make sense. But, that to me is one of the next big dominoes to fall. And I think if you're the ACC, what's critical, I think we all know Florida State and Clemson want out and will find a way out eventually. It's about making sure you don't lose UNC, that you don't lose UVA, because that's when I think what we saw happen to the Pac-12, they could have survived losing USC and UCLA. They couldn't survive, obviously, losing everybody else. You got to find a way to hold the core together. And to me, that's the big question for the ACC moving forward.
How much pressure do you think Deion Sanders is on with muzzling the media and all the expectations, the failed expectations, especially the second half of the year? How much pressure, John, do you think he's under this year?
Well, John works for CBS. You can't talk about Deion.
That's all right.
I got to be careful. I think they're trying to mend that relationship. So I have to be very careful with what I say here publicly.
Oh my God.
I think what's interesting. Yeah, well, we got to be careful. Deion is fascinating to me, and I think, to tie it somewhat back to the book, like 2 of our main characters in the book were Saban and Harbaugh. And I think you could argue, they were the top 2 names in the sport, right? Yeah. With those 2 guys gone, who really moves the needle at this point? And I think to me, it's Deion's number 1, and I think Lane Kiffin's number 2. But I do think we're missing some of those guys who when you see them say something, they're going to be national headlines, right? There's just not that many of them, I think, within the sport right now. I think there are guys who can come, but those are the top 2. Anytime Deion does anything, it's a major headline. I don't know that the results have backed that up, but he clearly has a lot of supporters. And, I think this year is going to be a fascinating year. It's funny how he had so much success to start last year. And people were like, oh, he's going to jump to this job. He's going to jump to that job. And now it's kind of like, oh, is this going to work at Colorado? And so I think he's got to start out strong. Clearly, there's some strong talent there. But, Deion is he's an interesting guy right now in college football.
I know you got to go do another hit. So if you have a moment to talk about your favorite chapter in the book, feel free.
Well, I think for you, it might be the rise and fall of Jimbo Fisher.
Yes.
I think for Florida State fans, I ended up, I talked to John Thrasher's one of the people that I talked to, who was, of course, the president of Florida State. Yeah. And he gave me some, I think, pretty good insight into kind of what went wrong at the end of Jimbo's time in Tallahassee. So that's one of my favorites. And related to that, the genesis for this book initially started with the famous war of words between Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. It feels a little benign now because now everybody pays players. But at the time, it was huge news when Nick Saban accused Jimbo of paying for every player. And, Jimbo fired back at him the way that he did. And I always was curious, all right, what could have possibly have happened between these two guys that would have led to that moment? And that was, to me, an important chapter. It's the first real chapter in the book, but just explaining what was happening in Baton Rouge between those two, a TikTok of kind of that night of how Jimbo found out and how he reacted and all that. I think it'll be a fun chapter for people to read. So I'll just lean into Jimbo for you guys.
All right. The book is called The Price. It is what it takes to win in college football's era of chaos. Cannot wait to read it. John Talty has been our guest. Armin Katayan is the co-author. Johnny, thanks so much. Love to have you on the show as we go through the season.
Yeah, we'd love that. It was great talking to you guys, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks. John Talty right there. Great stuff. And
yes,
I
absolutely.
perused the book last night. Really good stuff. If you're a college football fan, great access, really good stuff you haven't heard. And, it takes you kind of behind the scenes. Both of these guys, Armin and John, very well connected, and you'll learn a lot about college football. Really, really good stuff.
Love it. And I think there's some local implications here because whatever FSU does, especially in that ACC, is that where USF starts to become, one of the top candidates that goes to the AC or even the Big Ten. Because as crazy as that sounds, the Big Ten
crazy.
It does want that Florida market. And they're connected to a certain degree, you would have to say, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And where this is going. In fact, let's take a break. Mm-hmm. I want to come back and I shared some emails with John earlier. So there's some other things we were going to talk about, but time did not permit us. We'll get him on again. He's very agreeable to do that. So that's cool. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll finish off on where college football is going, where USF may be going and why. And this weekend's games are just freaking humongous. No, I do not remember a week one with this many huge games and implications. So we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. This has been a great month for the Gold and Diamond Source. Been a great year, their 40th anniversary. And folks, and especially you dudes out there, it's a place for you to shop as well. Men, do not forget the Gold and Diamond Source. You can get a great necklace, beautiful ring like I have there. Get an engagement ring, obviously not for you, but for your lovely betrothed. So much you get in watches. They have a great selection of watches. So, guys, there you go. Get you a Rolex like the Rolex Reporter. Great investments as well. So it's not just for you. You can invest in a lot of different things. Rolexes are going through the roof. So go on over to the Golden Diamond Source. Guys, get some cufflinks. Those are pretty cool. Tie clips, all kinds of stuff for you dudes at the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business.
Take your business or nonprofit to the next level with the power of video. Red House Streaming offers complete field production services. Our experience and expertise has you covered every step of the way wherever you want to go. From initial concept to final delivery, we'll handle it all and bring your vision to life. As your all-in-one production partner, we offer comprehensive marketing packages that not only showcase your brand, but amplify your reach. Contact Red House Streaming today.
Hey, if you love golf and the new Top Tracer virtual golf experiences that have taken the golf world by storm, well, you're going to love the new Top Tracer range at Rogers Park in Tampa. It combines the fun of competing virtually on the world's greatest courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with an outdoor range experience to track your ball, not just hitting it to that net. I love it. They have great brand new spacious covered bays, huge fans blowing down. It's very enjoyable even when it's hot. So grab your golf buddies. Great price, $25 an hour up to $45 at peak times. Balls are included, and you can also play the new short course for just $9. It's all at rogersparkgolf.net. To reserve a bay, go to rogersparkgolf.net. I'll see you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on a happy
day.
I'm Peter Blake, along with the great JP Peterson, as we talk Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay sports content 5 days a week from 10 a.m. to 12 noon right now. And I got to tell you, the people on my page, they love it. They're eating it up. So we're going to give it
2.9 thousand watching today
already.
Almost 3,000. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. No, yes. Numbers have been going up for football season, my friend, and we got a lot of views. Got a lot of views on our Dublin shows, and as I said, I'll be interviewing Jason Light today, doing a recorded interview, probably around 1:30 today. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to throw at Jason, we're getting 15, 20 minutes with him. So
I got one question: how does it feel to be the best general manager and not be recognized for it? And if you have the kind of draft class you had the last 2 years and you win a Super Bowl, do you feel like you should be in the Ring of Honor? And I think that should be asked at this point, because to me, I know how much Bucs fans love Rich McKay.
You want me to ask Jason Light if he should be in the Ring of Honor?
Probably not.
No.
But I think I definitely
agree with you. He should be. He should be when his tenure is done. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Because hopefully he'll have another Super Bowl.
Yes.
And that's it. To me, I want to kind of tap into the way they have been able to cross over the abyss that is the Super Bowl hangover. And that's the thing I brought up. I actually asked him this at one of the press conferences. I think it made, which one was it? One of the many announcing another
Tristan Wirfs, I think.
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs, where I asked him, I said, most teams after they win a Super Bowl, they have the inevitable dip because you lose draft position, you lose your players, you lose your coaches, you get rated. That's just the way it goes, right? And the Bucs were able to avoid that dip and recover and now they're the second youngest team in football in the NFL, and they're on a 4-game playoff streak. That never happens. That's impossible. Very few teams are able to avoid the crossover of the abyss, and he's done it, and he's done it through great drafting. Last year was obviously a huge K where they ate all of Tom Brady's dead money and some other dead money, and now they're coming out of it on the other side with a very competitive roster here. 43 of their 53 players are drafted homegrown players, which is unheard of. And now they've got, moving forward, lots of cap space next year. These contracts that they just did are already ridiculously undervalued. And I don't think that's a knock on the players. I think it's actually a compliment to the organization and to the players. They know what their worth is, and they know they could have held out and gone other places and got more money. But when you create a culture of family, you guys will give up money to stay where they want to live, play with an organization they want to play for, and that means a lot to them. And to people that are smart and have values, that's where it's at. And they've created this culture that Mike Evans will take less money to stay. Baker Mayfield will take less money to stay. I don't know if Antoine Winfield or Tristan Wirfs necessarily did, but those contracts are going to be undervalued as the cap continues to go up exponentially. So I think it's an amazing accomplishment. I'll be interested to hear what he thinks are the underlying pins to why that was able to be done.
Agree. Completely agree. And I think you look at the roster overall, it's impressive with the draft picks and the starters and the contributions. And again, it goes back to what? It goes back to getting players that fit your culture, that are the captains of, those programs. You look at the Washington Huskies, 6 of those Washington Huskies on the roster. Make no mistake about it. That's a damn good program. And that's the reason why they were in the national championship game. And, that should not fall by the wayside. It's about the players you get that fit. That's the reason why Devin White's not a part of this team anymore. That's the reason why Carlton Davis is not a part of this team anymore, because there was distractions. There was talk, not to say Davis is a bad player. He couldn't stay on the field, but also, did he fit the culture? Did it run its course? Did Devin White fit the culture? Of course, he didn't fit the culture. So it comes down to getting players that fit your organization, fit your system, and that starts with the drafting process. And it's not only just Jason Light, it's Mike Greenberg, it's John Spytek, it's Jacqueline Davidson, it's that whole collective, it's their scouts. You figure that out.
Scouts, yeah.
And the ownership has allowed them. And the best decision the Glazers made was, we're not going to panic. We're not going to succumb to the fan base and calling for Jason Light's job. We're going to let him make the decisions, and then we're going to come out of this. And there was, I believe Jason Light was talking about this, and this is in care of Joe Buck's fan, where he said, I didn't want to rebuild. I didn't want to tear it all down because there were talented players. There were young players on this team. I could have did that, and a lot of fans wanted them to do that. But he said, no, I'm not going to do it. There's too much talent on this team. There's too much young talent. That's the reason why you're in the position you're in right now. Yeah,
very well said. Very well said.
Thank you.
I wrote down some of those points, and I'm going to ask him some of those other points. I'm going to talk. I don't know how much we're going to get on the whole Brady Arians.
I know you're trying to push that
transition.
Yes. Well,
or I'll just say, or you could just go next question. Next question.
Right. Next question. Yeah. You ask about the boat parade more than anything else. I think everybody's.
I'm going to ask him just as a fun question, like, who has reached out to you and what type of plans have been floated, pun intended, for that boat parade? Yeah. Like, I'm sure there's a ton of people he knows with boats. He's like, oh, I don't have a boat. Well,
right.
I'm sure some people have reached out. And why have we not had said boat parade?
Yeah.
I think probably because people say, oh, you're celebrating before the season. You're celebrating the off season. Like we're Miami fans.
You're right. Well, you can't have fun anymore. You can't make any jokes. Everybody will be.
Oh, you can't on this show, for God's sakes.
I mean, everybody. But we can take the heat.
We can take the heat. We don't have rabbit ears like Deion Sanders.
Yeah, there you go. Get him on.
By the way, right. What a joke. What a joke Deion has become. I think it was his Feinbaum, he said this morning, he goes, he called me a dying breed, and he says, I am a dying breed. I'm a dying breed that feels like the media should still be respected, and you can't just selectively say who you're going to talk to. Well, listen, and that's what's, the culture starts at the top, and when the president and the top candidates for the presidency can say, I'm not talking to the press, I can do this without you. What they're basically saying is, I'm not accountable to the people. I'm not accountable to the people. I'm above that. I don't need you. I don't need to answer your questions, you lowly peasants, you. And that's what Dion's saying. Like, I'll pick and choose. If you say something bad about my program, I'm not going to talk to you. I mean, Bobby would be like laughing. I won't even say rolling over his grave, but he's laughing. Because the reason Bobby is laughing is because one of the things he told me. And I asked him one time in an interview, I said, why you've long been a darling of the media, and some of them don't treat you so fairly, Mike Bianchi. And I say that with all due respect, because Mike mentioned this in his column the other day, that he wrote some bad things about Bowden, but Bowden never got mad at him. He embraced him. And I said, why? How do you do it? How do you stay so, even keel with the media, even when you get a heartbreaking wide left or a wide right? How do you stay so positive in the media? He said, well, John, who votes for the national champion? It's the media. Why would I go to war with the media? The people that vote for that doesn't sound very smart.
Smart guy. Smart. The
Yes.
gambler. And by the way, great impression.
You don't think it chapped his ass?
Oh, of course.
Of course it did. You don't think he wanted to lash out? Of course he did.
Sure.
But he kept his tongue and courted the media because he knew it was best for his program. He knew that's what was best for his players, and what his program is to kind of eat it sometimes as the head coach, as the leader, and then kill him. I kill him with kindness. Yes, you do, Coach. Dion, take a page, bro. Take a page.
Yeah.
You're not, it doesn't make you more of a man to belittle other men or women. That doesn't make you more of a man. Doesn't make you a better person. Doesn't exalt you at all. It makes you look small, is what it makes you look small. Embrace it. Somebody comes at you, be smarter than them. Embrace it and turn it on them. Instead of saying, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. That's so sophomoric.
That's so Barry Bonds. Like, how did that work out for you? You talk
Terrible.
about him cheating and whatever else, but I mean, you have to believe with the way he's been with the media, that's definitely played a part.
Is it good for his program for him to do that? No, it's not.
No.
Is it good for his players? No, it's not. And I know the media doesn't vote for what public opinion matters. And listen, it's not, and that takes the bigger man to do that, is my point. It takes a small man to lash out like that. And it's not going to work out for you in the long run, Dion. I would highly recommend against that. But he ain't listening to me or anybody else. He's Coach Prime. Good luck with that. By the way, quick as a side, the new depth chart is out for Florida State. There are some notable changes. Number 22, Devontae Brown, the safety who was diving at ankles and didn't want any part of contact, was terrible. Has been replaced by Conrad Hussey, sophomore. So Richard Sr. sits down. Sophomore Conrad Hussey steps up. Shaheem Brown, unfortunately, at the buck position is still there. They need to change at that position as well. He was number one. Who else do I see? DJ Lundy, unfortunately, is still listed as first team because Omar Graham wasn't much better. But I think Justin Cryer should probably start getting some run there, the sophomore. And Cam Riley at the other linebacker position, number 18, and Blake Nicholson are as co-starters. I think Blake Nicholson's going to start getting more run there. Who else got replaced? Robert Scott Jr., the right tackle, has been demoted. Jeremiah Byers has been promoted. Keandre Jones at right guard and TJ Ferguson are now listed as co-starters. So there have been some changes in the depth chart from the first game, and I think rightfully so. Rightfully, Lawrence Toafili is now one of the starting running backs, but I think that was pretty much the same. And DJU is still listed as the starter quarterback. And I don't think that's changing. I don't think he played that poorly that he needs to be replaced, but he needs to be better. The coaching needs to be, all of it needs to be better. So that's interesting, kind of breaking news right there.
Yeah.
There will be some, and I tell you what, they've got their hands full with Castellanos, the running quarterback that ran all over them last year, that tremendous defense they had last year. This defense, they got to make a lot of changes to corral that guy, and they're 17-point favorites. BC, take the points. Take the points all day long in BC. So I'm laying the points with USF. This has been one of my picks on Friday, and I'm laying I'll take BC and 17 points against Florida State all day long.
All day long, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are signing Seth Vernon to the practice squad punter. Now let the talk. What
the hell has happened to Camarda? He was so good.
And Todd Bowles called him out in press conference. So he either better.
How do you forget how to punt?
I don't know. I have no idea. Right.
I get kickers go into slumps. I get it. But punters? That's weird.
You got to punt the ball. I mean, I don't know. And Todd Bowles is not happy. And he's not going to be happy about it because he's a defensive guy. And punting is important when it comes to field position, especially. So.
Damn right it is.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for anything else we missed today. The Uruguayan soccer player died, 27 years old.
Wow.
On the pitch of a heart attack. Happens all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, that was very, very sad. And the Kelsey brothers are selling their podcast for $100 million.
Jeez.
Congratulations. Good God.
Want to sell our podcast here for $100 million?
We'll take $1 million. Call it a day. Hey, look at all the viewers we had on your Facebook today. It's worth $1 million.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Go. Not to mention all the other feeds we got out there. So you're probably well over 7,000-8,000 people watching the show. And then the podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe the podcast, guys. If you don't want to look at our ugly mugs, you can just listen to us yap on and on. But big thanks to Evan Klosky, who came on. Great interview with him. Talked a lot of Rays. That was interesting. In the future of the Rays. Leo Haggerty nailed the USF stuff. So if you're a Bulls fan, go ahead and check that out in the 10:30 to 45 segment. John Talty, great author, covers college football, 11:30. Really great insights on Nick Saban and the future of college football and how we got to this point. Really good. And the book is The Price, just out with Armin Katayan and John Talty. Check that out. Great job, Peter. Appreciate you. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube pages and share the show whenever you can. We love you, folks. Thank you so much for allowing us to do this on a daily basis with non-corporate media talk. You can hear the different independent voices right here on the JP Peterson Show all the time. Thank you, guys. Good job, Pete. See you.